Welcome to Polarify Consulting. In recent weeks, media reports have suggested U.S. interest in merging Canada as its 51st state. Could this be in light of emerging Arctic geopolitics? Whether it's about full merger or an economic union like EU, let's try to break down the geopolitics behind these statements. This frozen Arctic wonderland is about to become the hottest place on Earth. Not literally, of course. Though with climate change, it could become strategically, economically, or geopolitically imperative. The Arctic is melting faster than ever before, and it's not just about rising sea levels. Hidden beneath the ice are vast fortunes. Oil, gas, minerals, enough to reshape the global balance of power. And guess who's scrambling to claim their piece of the pie? Russia's building military bases. China's claiming to be a near-Arctic state. Even tiny nations are staking their claims. But what about the two giants of North America? The U.S. and Canada. Are they ready for the Arctic showdown? As the ice melts, we're witnessing a dramatic transformation of the region. New shipping routes are opening up, and previously inaccessible resources are becoming available. The resource potential of the Arctic is staggering. It contains an estimated 13% of the world's undiscovered oil, approximately 90 billion barrels. Add to that 30% of undiscovered natural gas, about 1,700 trillion cubic feet, and 20% of undiscovered natural gas liquids, around 44 billion barrels. But that's not all. The Canadian Shield, a vast geological formation, holds large reserves of copper, gold, lead, molybdenum, and uranium. The Arctic is also rich in other minerals. 40% of the world's palladium, 20% of diamonds, 15% of platinum, 11% of cobalt, 10% of nickel, 9% of tungsten, and 8% of zinc. Let's now talk about the Northwest Passage. This fabled sea route could revolutionize global shipping. It has the potential to reduce shipping times between Europe and Asia by up to 40%. To put this into perspective, a voyage from Shanghai to Europe takes approximately 38 days via the Cape of Good Hope and 29 days via the Suez Canal. But through the Arctic Ocean, just 10 days. The economic advantages are clear. Shorter routes mean less fuel consumption, potentially saving up to $550,000 in fuel costs for a single journey compared to traveling around the Cape of Good Hope. Ships can make more return trips within a given time period, increasing revenue and profits. Now, let's consider the current geopolitical landscape in the Arctic. Russia has been aggressively asserting its presence in the region. They've constructed over 13 operational Arctic bases, deployed advanced missile systems, and positioned nuclear-capable submarines along the Northern Sea Route. Their Arctic military budget has surged to nearly $5 billion annually, with plans to field 12 new icebreakers by 2035. China, while not an Arctic nation, has declared itself a near-Arctic state and is investing billions in Arctic infrastructure. Their strategic vision extends beyond economics. They're mapping potential military access points, exploring resource extraction, and challenging traditional territorial boundaries. In contrast, Canada's current Arctic defense is woefully inadequate. With a mere $33 million annual budget for Arctic operations and fewer than 120 permanently stationed troops in the region, they're essentially defenseless against sophisticated military incursions. This brings us to an interesting topic. What if the U.S. and Canada decided to become one? Whether it's a full merger or an economic union like that of EU, such a union would have profound implications, particularly in the context of Arctic geopolitics. We're talking about transforming 40% of the Arctic's coastline into a unified, militarily secured zone. For the United States, the strategic advantages would be significant. Direct control over the Northwest Passage would offer numerous benefits, including shorter shipping routes, enhanced homeland security, and reduced reliance on the Panama Canal. The U.S. would gain access to Canada's newly completed Arctic deepwater port in Nanisivik, Nunavut, enhancing its Arctic presence. The expanded territory would offer greater strategic depth for national defense and resource allocation. Economically, the merger could lead to a reduction in the U.S. trade deficit with Canada, which stands at over $80 billion. For Canada, the benefits would be equally significant. Canada would gain access to a stronger currency, the U.S. dollar, a global reserve currency. This would increase stability and purchasing power for Canadian businesses and consumers. The current trade deficit with the U.S. would be eliminated, and Canada's resource exports would be integrated into domestic transactions. In terms of Arctic development, the merger could accelerate the exploration and extraction of Arctic resources. A projected $1 trillion investment in Arctic infrastructure would lead to the development of essential facilities such as roads, ports, airports, and housing. However, we must acknowledge that such a merger would face significant challenges. The constitutional differences between Canada, a constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary system, and the U.S., a federal republic with separation of powers, are substantial. Constitutional disparities, similar to those stemming from the Second Amendment, could pose a challenge. Criminal justice approaches would also need to be reconciled. The healthcare systems of the two countries are fundamentally different, with Canada's publicly funded universal coverage contrasting sharply with the America's mixed private-public system. Given these challenges, it would also be worth exploring potential middle ground solutions that fall short of a full merger, but still allow for closer cooperation and integration. The European Union serves as a precedent to a certain extent here, having brought together 27 countries under a single currency, a single market, and with free movement of labor. In fact, there have even been proposals to establish a unified military force for the European Union. Given the emerging Arctic geopolitical landscape, one possible scenario here could involve unifying national defense, currency, and passport, while allowing sovereignty in areas such as gun laws, public health care, and possibly ties to the monarchy. In conclusion, the changing Arctic landscape and the potential for closer U.S. Canada integration present both immense opportunities and significant challenges. As we navigate this complex geopolitical terrain, it's crucial that we consider all options, no matter how unconventional they may seem. The future of North America and the Arctic may depend on our ability to think creatively and cooperatively about governance and resource management in this critical region. If you found this video thought-provoking, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analyses of global geopolitical issues. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this complex topic, so please share your perspectives in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to exploring more fascinating topics with you in the future.